So you're teaching subjects that don't matter, is what I'm saying, and can also influence the way a person sees the world. So if you want to change things, why not get inside the system? Try and get involved in education, become a minister of education, and force the hand of the government bodies with pure common sense, with logic, and say to them, these subjects that you're teaching our children, if you're teaching a child Latin or something, which they just don't need, ever, will never ever need, or you're teaching them diabolically pointless mathematics, which most people will never ever need, ever, in their everyday life, take them away. Some people might want to learn it, let them learn it. There are minds for that, but not everyone needs it. Take it away, teach them how to farm, teach them how to nurture the ecosystem, teach them about nutrition, teach them how to heal the body using traditional methods such as food. Great minds like Hippocrates, let food be thy medicine. Where is all of this? In the education system. Where is it at? Guys, so I've just been, I've had a lot of thoughts about finding your purpose in life, because it's such a huge subject for me, and a lot of people have asked me it, so many people, and I keep feeling little things coming out of me that I want to share about that. And what I'm wanting to get at is, most of the people who ask me are people who want change. That a lot of people watching me want to see the idea of how change can be brought about through what I envision can be done with Feather's Tail, and what I believe within my metaphysical belief system, as in holding on to intentions to manifest things and stuff of this nature. I think it's appealing to people to feel that there's some freedom in that you can escape the mundane maze of the Western system and somehow do that, and you can do that. Everybody can do that. The planet's a big place. It's a big, big place, and there's space for us all to start doing what we need to do, or what needs to be done, to work in line with the planet's ecosystem, so as we are no longer like a cancer within the planet, or on the planet, living on the planet, driven by desires, because that is ultimately what the human race has become. If you take the human race off the planet, every single species, sentient and plant, benefit from that. They benefit from it. That wouldn't happen with any other species. You take something away, everything suffers because of it. So we are behaving like a parasite of sorts, draining the planet. And the thing is, when it comes to finding your purpose, I think a lot of people are thinking they need to escape the system to change it and stuff like this, or they just want out. The thing is, some of us inside us have special gifts. Some of us are amazing teachers. And to be an amazing teacher, you need an education. I fight hard for the children here to get an education, because I see what happens without an education. Education should be respected, and it should be loved and cherished, and we should be very grateful that we've got it in the West. The reason I can do what I can do here, whilst most of the persons in the village can't, is because I've got an education, and because I've also self-educated myself. But I don't think I'd have been able to self-educate myself if I hadn't been taught to read and write, and so on and so forth. Education is key. But to give you an example, if you're wanting to bring about change, if something in you is calling out that you're a good teacher, or that you can do that, you want to do stuff like that, don't abandon the system you live in, change it from inside. You can do that. And I'll give you an example. I've just been with the regional commissioner for NGOs in Tanzania. The day after I arrived, he arrived here for a visit to come and see me. And we had a conversation about sustainability and permaculture. And the conversation was beautiful for me, because this man sees what I see. And he said, our education system doesn't work. We can see it doesn't work because of the natural failings of the possible political agenda to make school free at the moment. So all the schools are struggling for everything, and some are probably going to close down, and children can't eat, so the schools are shutting down early because they can't provide any food for them because the children haven't paid school fees. So the schools are closing half day instead of operating till afternoon, evening. So the education system has its failings, but what we were referring to is the inner workings. Tanzania adopted the UK education system, and the UK education system is equally as pointless in some retrospects as this one. I mean, in the UK, they educate children on subjects they don't need. Sometimes they educate them on foreign languages that can only be used in a tiny proportion of the planet. Or they educate them on things like, Latin and stuff like this, and it's not required. It's not required. But what does the planet require is what the education subjects should be. And this is what I've always believed, that the education system can work just fine if they take out the schooling part of it and stop regimentally, schooling children so as they sit still and do this and all become, wear the same uniform and not be individuals. And cosh, a lot of public schools in the UK destroy the creativity of children. I remember, because I was one. And it's often very, very pointless and pathetic. And those of us who can think outside the box are deemed troublemakers, which I was as a child in school. But I was a troublemaker because I acted out, because I just saw the pointless folly of what everyone was trying to teach me. I didn't want to fill my brain with a lot of the rubbish they wanted to fill it up with, because I could see a better way, even when I was younger. So my belief is that if you can get into an education system and you can, for example, permaculture, you could teach permaculture as a subject in a country like Tanzania within the education system, the impact it would have on Tanzania, on Africa, and then the globe would be beyond comprehension. You'd be educating every child. I was going to say schooling's not a word I like. You will be educating every child on something which is needed by the planet at this stage in proceedings, in our evolution, in the progression of humanity. You could educate the children on how to work inside their own ecosystem, not apart from it, not beating it into submission like we do at the moment. You can educate them with moral guidelines on how to respect and love your planet, which the West don't do at all, which makes the Western education system a little bit creepy to me, to not teach the children in normal government schools. I don't know, some private schools I know do teach this stuff, but normal government schools, they don't focus on that. They don't focus on the truth that you need to work alongside your planet. They don't focus on the truth that you don't need to earn lots of money so you can have a nice house and a nice car. Ideally, if you want to do that, you can, but you could earn lots of money and save someone's life or get rid of a hungry belly. The school doesn't teach that in England, and that's what a moral school would do. But ultimately, the conversation went something like, in Tanzania, we could teach subjects that matter to African people, to Tanzanian people. They don't need to learn the rubbish that sometimes we try to teach in such countries, and are influenced by our English literature and stuff. Yeah, it expands upon the mind and the creativity, but I mean, here in Tanzania, where no one can get hold of a book, who cares? But this is the problem with a lot of the places like this. But we both had an agreement, which I loved, because he's a powerful gentleman, and one day I could, as an NGO, approach the education board in Tanzania if I had my own school. We could do that, and I see the vision of being able to do that. I've always said I want to build a school here and educate the children on subjects which help, and that's why I have a vocational training centre, training children how to create clothing and mend clothing. There's no clothing manufacturers here. That's needed. That's required for people. Our next step would be to educate children on sustainability, agriculture, sustainable agriculture, and when I'm fully educated on permaculture, which I hope to be in the coming years. It's going to take time because I need to find time to study whilst I'm doing everything else, but I will become educated because I've told the universe that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'll do. So I can then pass that on. We can bring other people, whatever needs to be done. But we can vocationally train children here who can benefit their country and don't rely on industry from overseas to come, like tourism and stuff, to help them. This is how education should work all over the planet. All over the planet. We should teach our children that which is required for this present moment and moving forward from here. Don't teach them history that other people have doctored the books for. Don't teach them history about wars where we have no idea, because the victor writes the history after you've won. Whoever won the war writes what happened. Often, it's not true. People have a completely deluded worldview of what went on this planet with regards to power structures in World War I, World War II and stuff like that. And it just takes a critical mind to research to see the truth. So you're teaching subjects that don't matter, is what I'm saying, and can also influence the way a person sees the world. So if you want to change things, Why not get inside the system? Try and get involved in education, become a minister of education, and force the hand of the government bodies with pure common sense, with logic, and say to them, these subjects that you're teaching our children, if you're teaching a child Latin or something, which they just don't need, ever, will never ever need, or you're teaching them diabolically pointless mathematics, which most people will never ever need, ever, in their everyday life, take them away. Some people might want to learn it, let them learn it. There are minds for that, but not everyone needs it. Take it away, teach them how to farm, teach them how to nurture the ecosystem, teach them about nutrition, teach them how to heal the body using traditional methods such as food. Great minds like Hippocrates, let food be thy medicine. Where is all of this? In the education system, where's it at? This is what we need to do. We need to change things from within. We're not going to be able to dismantle the current system and start again, because people need to live and depend on that system. But if people set intentions and people believe and push and drive and don't let go of the want for change, they can get involved inside those systems and become things like high up within the education board, and they can start talking sense in the public eye. Start talking logic and saying, why are we letting these elite people choose ridiculous, pointless subjects which are dulling the minds of our children when the planet all around us is struggling? Why not teach them how to be the knowledge which is already available, how to create things like agroforestry, where you can regrow the forests using agriculture and provide food for people. Let's teach that in school. Let's see what happens to the planet then. In 20, 30 years, when those children mature and their minds are constantly on that thought train. We can change the planet, but to change the planet, you've got to change these old, worn-out ways of doing things and the old, worn-out thinkers who were educated too long ago to understand or see the present moment for what it is. The more you're educated, the longer you go through life believing that is your set reality. So all these old people who are caught up inside the education systems and demanding this and demanding that, get them out, get some youth in who have free minds, who can do stuff. Get some other experts in on subjects like permaculture or on matters like designing free energy. Things like this can be done, but you need to get rid of the old fuddy-duddies, as you would call it in the northeast of England, and get in the new and creative people. And if you all back down on the system and say you don't want to be involved and back away from education, no one's ever going to be in there to do that. So for those of you out there who have a mind and a passion to do education and to learn stuff, do it. And let's get the planet changed whilst you do. That's the best way we can do this. We can't dismantle the system and start fresh. There's too many of us in it who are dependent upon that. There's too many people. So it needs to be changed from within. So be the change from within the system. Work out what your role can be, whatever you're good at, whatever your passion is, whatever resonates with you. Or of course, if you just can't cope with that anymore, show the world. Show the world that you can do it another way. Show it. Come and build little systems, build communities. Build a community like Featherstail, which will work off the grid and will not rely on big power companies and big food companies to supply anything for the children here. Come and do that. We'll collect rainwater and clean the water. Do that all over the planet. See how long it takes for humanity to say, well, if they can do that, why can't our system be like that? Because it can be. It can be a free system. It can be equal. It can be just. But what you've got to do, like I say, is get rid of these pointless old dragons who run the place, who run countries. And they are not good people. If an emperor runs an empire and a king runs a kingdom, it runs a country. So, anyway, I'm gonna get off. Bye, guys.